Welcome to Study Loop.
All right, guys, we're doing problem number 4 of chapter 5 in Chemistry Essential Science. So the contents of a closed box in each of the following illustrations, you can see that in your textbook, represent a system, and the arrows show the changes to the system during some process. The length of the arrows represent the relative magnitudes of Q and W. Which of these processes is endothermic? Thermic. That would be problem number. That would be example number 3, or III. That is the only one where that's that's the one where heat is being absorbed by the sample, as by your system, I should say. So let's just show like a generalized example of how this works. So when Q is going into your system, heat is going into your system. That means your process is endothermic because your system is gaining more energy. Consequently, if you are losing, let me just choose a different color. If heat is coming out of your system, you're losing heat, so your process can be exothermic. All right, remember, endothermic, heat is going in. Exothermic is heat is coming out. Like a flame feels hot. Like an exothermic process would be an example of a reaction that produces a flame. A flame feels hot to you because heat is leaving the system and coming towards your hand. So for part B, none of these processes, if any, would have delta E E is less than 0. Because the loss of heat or work done by the system is always less than the gain of heat or work done by the system. So let's put it this way. Delta E is equal to Q plus W. Now, so remember, the loss of heat or work done by the system is always less than the gain of heat or work done on the system. So if that's true, you can think of it as your Q in this case is going to be greater than 0. Or rather, I should say, Q plus W is going to be greater than greater than 0. So delta E is always going to be greater than 0. So none of these processes would be exothermic. None of these processes would be exothermic. None of these processes would have delta E is less than 0. They're all going to have delta E is greater than 0. And for section C, since all of these processes, since none of these processes would have delta E is less than 0, they're all going to have a delta E of greater than 0. So they're all going to experience a net gain in eternal energy.